Hey there! It is a beautiful sunny Sunday here in southern Germany, and I'm just hanging out, enjoying the sun a little bit, lying on the meadow here, and actually just finished reading a very interesting book. It is called, hold on, here it is, The Everything Store. It's the story of Amazon and its founder Jeff Bezos. So I got some very interesting lessons out of this book that I want to share with you. Okay, so Jeff Bezos founded Amazon in 1994, and actually before that he had nothing to do with retailing or the internet or e-commerce whatsoever. The internet itself was a very new kind of thing. It was just upcoming, and Jeff Bezos very early on recognized the potential that the internet had, and he was thinking about what business plan would make sense in an environment like the internet. So where could he really see the most growth if the internet keeps growing like it did in 1994? So at the time he was 30 years old, and he was just working at Wall Street or for some kind of broker or something like that. So he was in finance actually, and he quit his job in order to start Amazon.com. So at the very beginning, Amazon was not even an e-commerce business in the usual sense or in the way it is nowadays, because it only offered one particular item. It only offered books. So basically Amazon was only focusing on books, and Jeff Bezos did that because he was under the impression that books are very easy to ship, and at the same time they're a great commodity. You always know what you get when you order a book online, so there's really no confusion for the customers. So he started out with books, but very interestingly to me, Jeff Bezos always had a very long-term vision. So the book is called The Everything Store, and it is because from the very start Jeff Bezos planned to turn Amazon.com into an e-commerce retailer that offered everything. So he wanted to build really a store, an online shopping store that allowed customers to buy anything they could imagine. But he only started with books. So he was smart enough to know that you have to start small. You have to start with maybe just one item like books, and from that you can eventually branch out, and eventually you can become bigger and bigger. So from the very start, Jeff Bezos had very, very big plans for his new founded company, even though it started very, very small. For example, there was one anecdote that is just described in this book, where Amazon.com was just founded in 1994, and they had the orders coming in, and every time an order came in, they would ring a bell so that they could celebrate that somebody bought some of their books on Amazon.com. But very soon it started to get so annoying because they were just ringing the bell constantly, because there were just so many orders coming in, and frankly they were not prepared for how quickly the number of orders rose. So they were also not equipped to send out all these books that got ordered. So during the day they would deal with business, and they would order the books from the big book publishers, and at night they would all go down to a warehouse that they rented and start packing the orders that had come in during the day. So they would basically work 24/7. They would really work during the day, do like the regular business, and then during night they would all go down to the warehouse and pack all night long. So this is how the company of Amazon even originally got started. And to me it's just so fascinating to see how a company like Amazon that 20 years later has close to 100 billion US dollars of revenue each year just started so small. So it started really tiny. It started in like a back office somewhere in Seattle, and Jeff Bezos still always had that long-term goals. He always had these long-term visions, and he was always aware that what he started there in 1994 was just the very first step. He always was aware that there are big things coming down the road, but he has to take it one step at a time. So he started very, very small, but from the very beginning he was thinking incredibly big. So to really underline how unique Jeff Bezos' thinking is and how long-term he was planning from the start with Amazon.com, I want to read you a quick quote from the book. It's at the very end, and it quotes a longtime friend of Jeff Bezos. So this friend says, "If you look at why Amazon is so different than almost any other company that started early on the internet, it's because Jeff Bezos approached it from the very beginning with that long-term vision. It was a multi-decade project. The notion that he can accomplish a huge amount with a larger time frame, if he is steady about it, is fundamentally his philosophy." Now this is really what I find fascinating, that you are able to accomplish so much if you are able to think long term. And most people are not even able to think that far ahead. I mean, we all have plans where we want to be in like 2 years or maybe even 5 years, but it is very rare that people are able to think many decades ahead. Many of us have no idea where they want to be in like 3 decades or even 1 decade. And I think this is very crucial to think more about that. I think it is crucial that you know where you really want to go with your life, so that you can think really far ahead and then take it one step at a time. Because if you have really big plans for yourself and what you want to accomplish, it is crucial that you are able to break it down in smaller steps. Every big goal will seem overwhelming if you don't break it down like that. So you really have to learn to think really big, think very long term, but then break it down in smaller steps that are actually possible to accomplish. So just keep that in mind, and if you feel like you have goals that are just not possible to accomplish anytime, think of Jeff Bezos. He started this company basically in a garage somewhere, and just from scratch with basically no money whatsoever and no experience in that field whatsoever. And now he's one of the richest men on earth, and he runs a company for 20 consecutive years that is just getting bigger and bigger. So keep that in mind, and talk to you next time.